Afternoon, guys. How are you? Thanks for sitting through. I'm going to be talking about billing. Just a little bit background for myself. I started working in the medical industry in about 2002, I believe. Yeah, 2003 I started as a stock controller for a casualty. And I remember I was sitting there and I was just thinking, yeah, I'm doing everything right. I've got the training I needed to do, and I was counting my stock and I was billing my stock. And I remember sitting in the matron's office in there, and she just got all those reports printing out. She says, Terence, what's happening here? You know, why did you charge for 1,000 of this or 100 of this? And in my mind, I was sitting there and I was thinking, I was doing everything right. And that's where this is coming in for me, is we're going to make mistakes, but when we make mistakes on billing, we're making bigger mistakes than we think. So one thing I've done with the GoodX, or what I'm thinking of with GoodX, is how can we make billing easier? And GoodX has worked in a way with workflow events and how the practices can make decisions on actually implementing smart ways to get billing through the system. So I'm not going to cover the codes or anything like that. I'm just going to cover a few things GoodX has that will make your life easier by doing certain steps, talking to our FCL support and setting up a few things for you to make sure that you get your billing through to the medical aid, and just make the normal mistakes people make every day, just to kind of eliminate those. So the first few things I'm going to show you guys is the easiest one, I think, is our booking types. So with every booking that you can make, you can actually predefine certain codes and billing and codes and amounts that you want. So when you go onto your booking lines, and this works if you want to bundle up your billing as such. So this is the first consultation. I know what the code is. It's your consultation code. And sometimes, because I'm a private patient, while this is a private practice, my first consultation will be a certain amount, so I can predefine that. When I do a booking for a patient, as we did for Picture, if I go into invoice immediately, I'm already billing it. I'm not touching, I'm not putting in codes. I am already putting in my code and exactly the amount I want. I'm not choosing the medical aid amount here. This is not the medical aid amount, but this is my private consultation amount. So now I can control my booking types by saying all the different baskets or all the different types of bookings I can make. I can predefine my ICD-10 codes, my codes, what is the amount. And before, even after that, I can also decide on where it needs to be. So this is going to be private, is this going to be medical aid? And I'm going to be talking about that a little bit more later on. But just to show you, we've got a little follow-up booking. So this is, as you can see on the side, first consultation, follow-up booking. But when I go to invoice, you'll see it's the same code, but I'm charging a different amount. So I'm eliminating people having to enter amounts into the system, making mistakes, and you can predefine all your bookings, and when you do the booking, you're already billing the codes. Yes, maybe you need to change out the ICD-10 code or here or there, but I think this is a little shortcut that will help you. You know, a lot of people just have their consults and they like to have all the colors there. Why not predefine your billing already into those baskets? The next one, Ryan, just go out to me. Oh, yes, that's the authorization. Sorry, Ryan, yeah. Invoicing. So a lot of us are working on authorizations, and yes, we've got the little button on the side there. Just go out for me there. I'm sorry, Ryan. We've got the button on the side of the billing where you can just enter your off number next to the private there, and that will help. But we are phoning beforehand to get authorizations from the medical aids. We are authorizing specific codes. Why not load this up onto your billing as we go? So we've got a place where you can add your authorizations, and we created one here where I've got the authorization code in there. I've got the from and to date, so I can define what the description is, and again I can go and put all the codes that have been authorized. So when I go back to my billing screen, it will only pop up there if it's in the allocated time. So if my authorization was set for only the 28th and I changed that to the 29th, it's not going to pop up because my authorization was authorized from certain dates. So you can't by accident select this authorization and then load it onto you. This will only pop up on a certain dates, and when you choose your authorization, you'll find that it's going to pull through. Just say yes for us there, and I've got my authorized procedure that's set in there. Yes, we are phoning for authorizations, we're getting it, what are we doing with those authorizations? Let's go load them up onto our invoicing, predefine all the authorizations that we have, and then when we select the correct dates the patients were there, the right authorization is putting through, and that's going to be sent to the medical aid. So that's one way that we can just help ourselves not making mistakes and selecting the right things. The second one, or the next one we've got is macro billing. Now I think this is a standard on all systems, is templates and macros. I just wanted to show you a little bit of the setup and the differences that GoodX has there. Now in big practices, and one thing I like about the way GoodX manages it, is as you can see on the top there, we can create a macro. And as we understand that, we choose our macro and that pulls in everything. What's nice about these macros are, and especially, like I said, in bigger practices where we've got maybe 2 or 3 doctors, or you've got locums working and everyone's making their own little templates, and when you look at all your templates and the macros that you've got, Doctor 1, Doctor 2 has his own little baskets and everything, and that kind of makes it a little bit messy. So what GoodX makes nice is I can choose a treating doctor, that will be my own doctor. So if I got my own templates, I can only create templates that will pop up when I log in, which is nice. Also, we can control which service center, because as we know, with billing, if you're billing in hospital, if you're billing out of hospital, if you're billing day clinics, there's different rates attached to all of those. So we need to make sure we can set those right, and if we predefine these, then it's easy for us to pull in. If it's an in-hospital procedure, macro that we want to do, we can define it here, and we know it's going to pull in correctly into the service center that it needs to be. And then on the side, we've got, again, the prices that we can predefine to medical aid patient prices. Now, one of the things that you know in our industry is always there is split billing or balance billing. And split billing is the illegal part of that one, but balance billing is fine. And what we say with balance billing is we want to send a price. My price for, let's say, debridement is 2,000 Rand, but I know the medical aid is only going to pay 500 Rand. But I, as a private practitioner, and I've disclosed this to the patient, I'm allowed to charge my 2,000 Rand, but I don't want to send the whole amount to the medical aid, because, as we know, certain medical aids will pay the member. So what we do with balance billing is we just balance the amounts between the medical aid and the private. So I'm going to tell the medical aid, I'm charging you, your patient, 2,000 Rand, but you are only liable for the 500 Rand that you are going to pay, and the patient is then liable for the 1,500 Rand. So that's balance billing. We are balancing the amount between what the medical aid needs to pay and the patient. And we can predefine these if that's what you want. And that's why we've got the 2 columns where we can say, the price is 2,000 Rand, medical aid, you pay us the 500 Rand, and then they won't pay the patient. And that's what I like about, and you'll see the screen everywhere in GoodX. Even if you set it up on the booking types, you can predefine those. And that's what I like. You can say add by default, is it going to be added, or do I choose it? What I kind of like about this, if you're in a practice where you do a lot of stock, if you've got even a little stock, if you just got a little room of stock, what I've seen in all the years is people charging stock because they are looking at maybe a description or something, but we're not choosing the right stock. So if you have a system where we need to do stock control, I'm doing stock tags, set up macros with exactly the stock that you are doing, instead of people going and looking for the actual stock and then choosing the wrong stock, and you are not stock controlling. Your stock tags are out because people are choosing the wrong stock. Yes, you can go and make everything inactive if you want, but I like, when I set up practices, go and make your stock macro, and then you can choose. Then you know you are selecting the right codes with the right nappy codes, and you're not making mistakes. And that's why I like our little macro. It's the same. It's in every program, but I think we do it a little bit different. That's why we've got the type on the top there that says choose, where I can say I can choose, or it's all fixed. Where I would say choose is if I got a long list where I said this is all my stock items, now I choose this stock and I know I'm charging the right things. Thanks, Ryan. The next thing we've got is a simple one. I think Oh yeah, let's quickly show you how the macros work. So you can set it up by name, and then you've got two options. You can either just add the code type suture, which Ryan just spelled wrong, and then it's going to pop up. And then you can choose your whole macro as you want, or you've got a whole list on the side there that says macro, where you've got all your macros set up. And again, you can choose which code you want. And that one is a good example of where I set up a little stitching. Was where I set up a few of the nylon stitches that I want, and few of the items that I got, and I've got all the stitching codes there, and then I can decide, listen, I'm going to do a 303, I'm not doing the 302, take that one out, or I'm using a certain nylon, I'm not using that one, and that makes your life easier. Okay, thanks Ryan. The next thing I want to talk about is an easy one that I don't think a lot of people see. Is your last 5 invoices. So a lot of our clients asked us, listen, I just want to repeat everything. Why have to overtype everything? So if you're on your billing screen, you're going to have your last 5 invoices to your patients right there. And then if it's a basic repeating of the same operation, of the same ICD-10 codes, I'm doing it. All I have to do is just select, choose all, and it will pop it in. Or I say select it, and it is going to give me an option to say which codes I want. And again, I don't think a lot of our clients actually know about that little button there. Now, I want to go straight into our estimates billing, and I think the medical aids are coming to a point where they are requiring more estimates every time to go and say, we're going to authorize this or not. So why do everything over and over again? I'm going to be saving this as an estimate, and we can call it something, whatever you want. And from there, send out the estimate, and you've probably already seen with GoodX that you can email everything out here, it's notes being made. So I would save it, and then why go back and do the billing again if I've already saved it? So you go to your estimate, there you've got all the estimates that you saved, and then once you've gone in, view and edit, you can just go on the top, but before I show you that, you can just quickly go, take it off an estimate and post that invoice off. What I want to show you on the bottom there that's nice is that we've got an estimate accepted, estimate rejected. So how do I actually control all the estimates that I've been sending out? We've got a whole invoice management screen where all invoices, all estimates, all temp invoices that you've ever created are there. So you can quickly filter by your accepted or rejected or just your estimates. So I've got a list of all the estimates I've sent out. I've got a list of all the ones that have been accepted and all the ones that have been rejected. Just to kind of, yes, the patient got an estimate, doesn't mean he's going to accept it or come back, but you've got some idea of where the estimates are and you can control them. So those little 2 statuses, I might say, is a nice addition to that. But the whole idea of this is, I go to my stitching or my estimate, I come back and I just untick it on the top where it stitches there, and now it's becoming an invoice, and I post it off and send it to the medical aid. So if I do the prep work, the right date, the right service center, the right medical aid or service center, the doctors, all I need to do is untick it and I post it off, and that saves so much time. And again, like I wanted to say is, the less human interaction with this stuff, the less mistakes we are making. Because mistakes at the end of the day, it's just your cash flow. We're going to take another week or so. Yes, sorry. Yes. Yes. So what's happening there is, because we are making a booking, it's going to try and, any booking that we make on our system creates a temp invoice. So as soon as I make a booking, it's going to link that invoice or that temp invoice to that booking, and that's also all our clinical notes tie up to that specific event, so we know that date. Now, that might just be something happening there. So I'm saving an estimate, now it's maybe taking it away from the booking, and then it's not linking up to that specific booking for that day. So if you go create a normal estimate, it's not linked to a booking, it's not going to show on the sides there. But maybe look at the invoice management screen, because all your estimates will be there. If you go on there, and I'm not too sure if we can maybe go there. There might be an error. Ryan, let's take a chance and just show them. I believe it's configuration. You know better, right? There we go. Invoice management, and on the top left side there, right, we'll see temporary, posted, or estimates. So if we click on estimates and we take to, maybe it's going to show or not, I'm not too sure. Well, there's all our estimates. And when I'm saying status is pending, that's where I can say accepted or rejected. So you've got a nice little screen that every invoice you've ever created on GoodX will be here. But what I like to say is you can also manage it with your estimates and how you manage that. And then from there you can quickly send it out again. If you tick it on the side, you've got the whole thing as well there. Okay, so Ryan, let's go back to, we've done the estimate billing. Okay, so theatre billing, and I want to kind of tie this just together with what GoodX is trying to do. So the theatre app, or the theatre program, or the theatre workflow event that we created was firstly for anaesthetists, in the sense of, anaesthetists aren't really office bound, so they are walking around, and most of them are probably set up. Yes, sorry guys.
I need to ask a question, especially about the billing.
Especially about the billing.
I've used another system before.
Yes.
That's what I understand. Sometimes you operate on a patient.
Yes.
And you do relook. And that patient has been in the ICU maybe for, let's say, for 1 week or 2 weeks.
Yes.
And after you need now to make a combined billing once. But I realize that GoodX doesn't give us that opportunity. You need to build single day. Yes. You build the first, and you need to build the second, you need to build. I find it a bit very cumbersome. Why don't you allow us that I put the first, I build what I did the first, the second, I build and I submit once.
Okay, so we've got two programs essentially. We've got the GoodX Web, and this is a GoodX Web program. And the desktop version, we've got multi-invoice screen. And I'm not too sure why I didn't touch this, but we've got exactly that function. So at the billing corner there, they can show you the multi-invoice function that we've got in the web. So exactly that. This billing screen that you'll be seeing the whole time, that is for single dates only. We can't add other dates. But we do have a multi-invoice screen where you can load more than one date on there. So you can then do exactly that. I can load my 4 ICU visits for all the days, and we got repeat booking. So it's getting there, it's going to get nicer. The multi-invoice screen is now, I think, much better than it was a year ago. But Ryan, oh yeah, here we go, thanks Ryan. So you'll see, we can add invoices as we like. So if you say add invoice, new date, new visit, and then you can build all the dates you want in one screen, and you can go on. So let them show that to you, and then we can maybe help out the practice there. But just to go back to, oh yeah, here we go. So the same little screen, but like I said, you can then just add more than one date, and then you don't have to go out and back in, and then you can just post it off as one big batch. Okay, Ryan, let's go back to the theatre list. So where I wanted to go with this is we've been working on workflow events to make life easier, and it's going to tie into the rest of the talk. So this was designed to get away with paper for the theatre list. So we first thought there's a lot of surgeons that want theatre list, and we've got to get away from the Excel sheet that we do. How can we make it part of the workflow? So we load up a theatre list, and then we load this workflow. But where the billing comes in is we can say, listen, let's work with practices to see how their billing workflow works and how can we make it easier for them. So the anaesthetist and the surgeons has one as well, but I'm going to show the anaesthetist one, where all you need to really do is you add the code, and this is going to be a colonoscopy 1653. So if we add the code and we go down to the billing part of this, you'll see, because anaesthetist billing, I won't say is easy, but it's very structured. So we know exactly. I've only entered the 1653, and I think something went wrong here, right? Just maybe close it up and just go back in, because it's not adding the codes automatically. So if I type in 1653, and we've been playing around with this the whole day. So what should have happened at the bottom here is it should have added the 015, oh there we go. So it's already adding my consultation, it's already adding my 0023, which is my theatre time, which is my in and out time, but that's also controlled by my theatre time that I've already set. So my in and out time, as you can see, is already predefined, right? Just go down for me a little bit. It's already predefined by my booking in the theatre list. So I'm creating my theatre list, I'm adding the codes that I'm doing the procedures with, and I'm automatically billing what I'm doing. And what was nice about this is we've got the extra buttons on the top. So if I say this was an unscheduled emergency, I'm already adding the codes. So I'm already adding my 0011, and when I say it was a consultation or travel right next to it, right, it's going to add the appropriate code to 0146. And kind of what I'm trying to get is that if we work with certain specialities, we can say, what is your workflow, what is the structure of your billing, and how can we help you while you are busy just prepping your theatre list, doing your normal work. We are actually coding and we're doing it correctly. From here, it's easy enough. Again, I can say update to an estimate, then my estimate is there. I can send it out to the patient, and again from there, estimate view back to that. I'm not really touching anything. I'm creating a theatre list and I'm billing and I'm done. So that's our theatre list one, and then this kind of ties in nice with what the workflow event billing is going to be like. So the workflow event billing is, and this is nice for me that this can be done by any practice, right? So I'm not too sure if you guys have seen Dean's talk and ophthalmologists that helped us design the eye valve 2.4, where while they are busy clinically working with the patients, they are selecting the procedures or everything they've done, and then we kind of built in smart again, where when I'm selecting certain things, I can attach codes, I can attach ICD-10 codes to that, and while I'm doing my work, I'm actually just billing the right codes. Again, I'm choosing the right codes without really choosing the right code. I'm just doing my procedures. Why I'm showing the iValve 2 is this little tool that we've created and everything on top there, right? Just show them a few things here. iVitals, and yeah, basically this is a workflow event. It's very foreign to me because I'm not too sure of all the clinical stuff, but this is a tool that anyone can make in-house right now with GoodX. There's an examination workflow event, and if you've got a workflow in your rooms where I'm doing things, and the example I wanted to show you is I made a little expo demo at the side there where I created a little examination room, and this is very basic bones where I said there's procedures, someone's doing a suture, I can select the different suture types I want. I did a debridement as well, I can leave there, but again, while I'm doing my clinical information, I'm also adding my billing codes. So imagine you can create anything you want here because I can name everything, I can create little pulls, I can create a whole workflow event that ties into exactly how I do my business, and while I am clinically making notes, I'm also creating the invoices. And then for my administration staff, all they really need to do is, doctor, is this the right ICD-10 code? Because again, I can really set this thing up to assist me as far as possible. So I would like to say that if this looks like something you want to do, go and speak to our guys to say, listen, this is my workflow, this is what I want to do. I want to be seeing my patient, and while I'm actually just doing my normal notes, I'm actually providing an extra service to my guys in front. We're not pushing papers around anymore. And again, I want to say anyone can create this. Yes, it's a bit difficult from the start. That's why GoodX support is going to be there to help you out. But this also translates into a nice report that you can print out, send to the patient. But the idea that I wanted to bring with the billing is there's many ways in GoodX to help you guys to minimize errors in the practice and to actually set these things up. I've talked about this for a while, but I still want to see actual practitioners use this in practice, where they really just set these things up correctly for you, and then you won't have any problems going forward. So I'm going to open up for you guys. Is there any questions? Yes, ma'am. Yes.
And then she will build from the estimate.
Yes.
But when she selects that estimate to build, the supercenter is not there, even though it's on the estimate, and the total, the amounts aren't there. Like if the doctor's doing 3 fillings, the amounts are wrong. But if you go to the estimate, it's on the estimate, and the estimate says supercenter theatre. the service centre. Yes, and it picks out like tooth numbers, it picks out the amount of fillings done. It's just massive.
Well, I know we are working on, there was specifically, I wouldn't say it was a problem that we found with the estimates on the dental screens, and exactly what you're saying. You kind of felt like you are losing things there, and I know that we've worked on that, and we're probably going to be pushing out a version that's going to assist you with that. But from the normal estimate side, because unfortunately a dental screen is a whole different thing, that's treatment planning that we're doing in front, and then the estimates. And I know for sure, because we're creating so many estimates with dentists, it's not just one. The whole treatment plan that we're planning out for the whole, next few months, and then the estimates. There's a very specific steps that you need to take to make it work. So one thing I know that we are doing is we're going to be, I'm going to say, overhaul the whole dental screen, and we're going to be doing that over. But I know that's a high topic for us to make sure whatever I've estimated, I can easily fall back, because that's what it is there for. So you have logged the ticket, and we are looking at that, right? Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else? Guys, I think it's lunch, so please enjoy. And then, oh no, that's you, Norman. I'm taking over. Thanks, guys.